A child spent weeks telling their parents something was wrong. Every single night. They were ignored, dismissed, told their imagination was overactive, until their father pulled a poster off the wall and found a tunnel built from the woods, leading directly into his child's bedroom. Someone had been crawling in every single night for over a month. And in our second story tonight, a woman woke up with a gash on her thigh. Something had scratched her while she slept. She thought it was a nightmare, until her roommate turned off the AC unit, and the room went completely silent, except for the breathing coming from under her bed. My name is not important. What I am about to tell you is, these are true stories, and they carry a warning that every parent watching needs to hear. Stay until the end, because the most important message in this video is not from me. It is from a child, and it will stay with you long after this video ends. Our first story tonight comes from someone who spent most of their childhood completely alone. Not by choice, by circumstance. They struggled with depression from a very young age. And because of that, their bedroom became their entire world. A world their parents never fully entered. A world that someone else decided to make their own. This is the story that caused an entire family to abandon a house that had been in their name for 3 generations. And it started with something as small as a nightlight. Story 3 full narrator script. The house sat deep in the woods on the edge of nowhere. Trees pressed in on 3 sides of it. A thick forest separating it from any neighbors. For a child already battling the weight of depression, it was the loneliest place imaginable. The bedroom sat in the back corner of the house. Windows on 2 walls facing nothing but darkness and trees. Honestly pretty terrifying for any child. Even more so for one who was already scared of the dark. The child was around 10 years old when things started happening. 5th grade. Old enough to be told their fears were not real. Young enough to still believe the adults around them. It started with the nightlight. A small LED light with different color settings. The child always kept it on red. Every single night without fail. Red was safe. Red meant everything was normal. One night the child woke up randomly in the middle of the night. Unusual for them. They were always a heavy sleeper. But before drifting back off, they noticed it. The nightlight was a different color. Not red. Something else. They did not think much of it at first. Just a glitch. Just a coincidence. But it happened again a week later. And this time the child asked their parents, "Why are you changing my nightlight?" The parents were confused. They said they had not touched it. They said it was always glitchy. The child accepted that answer. For a while. Then one morning the child woke up to find the nightlight unplugged completely. Sitting on the floor. Not in the wall. On the floor. The parents dismissed it again. Said the child was getting too old for a nightlight anyway. A few days later, it was gone completely. Vanished. The child knew their parents were lying. A massive fight broke out. Both sides accusing the other. Neither budging. But something far more disturbing was about to begin. 3 nights in a row the child woke up in the middle of the night. Each time with no idea what had woken them. After the 4th night in a row the child told their parents. Puberty, they said. Your body is changing. Go back to sleep. The next time it happened, the child stayed awake, lying completely still in the dark. And after a few minutes, they heard it. Faint rustling sounds coming from inside the closet. The father checked the closet. Nothing there. Just old toys. Old posters. Nothing to be afraid of. Go back to sleep. For more nights the child was woken up by rustling in that closet. For nights of lying frozen in the dark, listening. Too afraid to move. Too afraid to sleep. The child begged their parents to believe them. The father got angry. He dragged the child to the closet to prove once and for all there was nothing there. He started throwing toys across the bedroom floor, clearing the closet shelf by shelf, yelling the entire time. And then he pulled a poster off the wall. The room went completely silent. The mother started screaming. There behind the poster, a massive hole in the wall, too deep for the flashlight beam to reach the end. The father ran outside, inspected the base of the house, found a small hole in the dirt, started digging, and discovered that it was far more than a hole. It was a passageway, running from the woods, directly into that child's bedroom. Someone had built a tunnel into their home. The mother and child were out of the house before midnight. They never went back. And to this day, nobody knows who built that tunnel, or what they wanted, or how many nights they spent in that room, watching a child sleep, while that child screamed for someone to believe them. And nobody did. Our second story comes from a young woman living alone with her roommate. She was not someone who scared easily. Not someone who believed in the paranormal. Not someone who had ever experienced anything she could not explain. Until the nightmare started. And the nightmares, as it turned out, were not nightmares at all. They were warnings from a part of her mind that already knew something was wrong. Something was in that apartment. Something that had been there far longer than she realized. Before we continue, I need to stop here for a moment. Because this story is not just frightening. It is a warning. That child spent weeks telling the adults in their life that something was wrong. Weeks of being dismissed. Weeks of being told their fears were not real. And all that time, someone was in their room. If your child tells you something is wrong tonight, please put down your phone. Turn off the television. And listen to them. Not because every noise in the night is a monster, but because your child trusting you with their fear is the most sacred thing they can offer you. Do not make them beg to be believed. Now, our second story tonight takes that fear somewhere even darker. Because this time, the person was not behind the wall. They were underneath the bed. And they had been there for weeks. It was July. Hot enough that she kept the window AC unit running on full blast every single night. The white noise helped her sleep. A few days after a difficult breakup, the first nightmare came. She was sitting at a dinner table surrounded by her family. Everything quiet. Everything still. And then across the table, something was standing there. Tall. Dark. Horns. Claws. It looked like everything you would imagine a nightmare to look like. And then it was standing next to her. Looking down at her. She ran. through the dream version of her apartment, until she woke up. Heart racing. Room pitch black. AC on full blast. Just a dream, she told herself. Just a bad dream. The following night she woke up to find her bedroom door open. She always kept it shut. Always. She assumed it was her roommate Trish checking on her. She texted Trish the next morning. Trish said she never came in. The night after that, the nightmare returned. Same creature. Same darkness. But this time she was alone in an empty room with it. And it kept getting closer. Without moving. Without walking. Just closer. Until it was on top of her. And she could not move. The creature took a claw to her thigh. And scratched. She felt the pain. Even in the dream she felt it. Then she woke up. AC on full blast. Room pitch black. A stinging sensation on her upper thigh. She reached down and felt something on the skin. She ran to the bathroom. Turned on the light. And screamed. There was a real gash on her thigh. A real wound. From something with real claws. She woke Trish immediately. They stripped the bed. Checked the sheets. Looked for bugs. Looked for anything sharp she could have caught herself on. Nothing. And then Trish stopped. She put her finger to her lips. She walked to the AC unit and turned it off. For the first time in weeks, the room went completely silent. And in that silence, they both heard it. A sound from under the bed. Not a creak. Not a settling of the building. The kind of faint sound you only recognize as human when you are close enough to feel it. Someone breathing. Someone existing. Inches below where she had been sleeping. Every single night. They did not scream. They did not run. They looked at each other. And then they walked out of that apartment. Calmly. Quickly. And they never went back inside alone. The police confirmed the intruder was gone by the time they arrived. But the reflection that followed was perhaps the most disturbing part of all. That creature in her nightmares was not a demon. It was him. Her mind had sensed a presence in that room before she ever consciously knew. Her dreams had been trying to warn her. And the open bedroom door that night meant he had been roaming that apartment freely. While she slept. Possibly for weeks. Eating their food. Moving through their home. Like he belonged there. And she never knew. Until it was almost too late. 2 stories tonight. 2 different people. 2 completely different situations. But the same terrifying truth at the heart of both. The danger was already inside. And in both cases, someone was not listened to. A child whose fear was dismissed night after night. A woman whose own mind was screaming a warning she could not yet understand. So let me leave you with this. Soft child's voice. Please do not leave us alone. We get scared too. Just stay close. We need you. Narrator returns quietly. Protect your children. Listen to them. Believe them. They are trusting you with the most important thing they have. Part 2 is coming. And the stories get darker. Subscribe so it finds you first. And tonight, go check on your kids. Just to be sure.